What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be talking about the last couple of games here, round one of the series between the Winnipeg Jets and the St. Louis Blues. Jets got up to a 2-0 lead, looked like they were dominating the series, and then all of a sudden have just completely fallen apart, shades of last season and, a couple years before that too. And now we've got a tie series. It's really bizarre, the way that this has all gone, because, the Jets at home win their first two games. Yeah, they were close games. Jets came back to win game one, and the Jets won game two, 2-1. But, they were in pretty good control of those games, weren't really allowing anything on goal for the Blues at all. Really no high danger chances whatsoever. We head to game three, and they are just, falling apart at the seams. Everything they do is it's just bad. How does this happen year after year? And, I know the series isn't over or anything like that, but another effort like we saw out of game 3 and 4, it might as well be. I was over here, last week talking about how Connor Hellebuyck has bucked the doubters. He's played pretty well through the first couple of games in the playoffs. Maybe not perfect, but he's been pretty damn good. These last two games, he's been pulled. Both starts. Back-to-back pulls from, a Hart Trophy nominee? Absolutely unacceptable. Are all the goals his fault? Absolutely not. I get that. A lot of goals that went in are designed to be tough for Hellebuyck, right? There are a lot of screens going on. They are throwing bodies to the net. And it's like these point shots that are getting tipped in left and right. The Jets can't do anything about them. The Jets aren't boxing out. Doesn't matter who's on the ice. And it's just unbelievable, from the top down. Morrissey all the way down to Logan Stanley, Hayden Fleury, Luke Schenn. These guys stink on defense. They can't play. I don't know what's going on, but they are playing like hot garbage. And you can run the excuses out. You can say, hey, there's no Gabe Vilardi, there's no Nikolai Ehlers. Jets will probably get Gabe Vilardi back for game 5. But, guys, come on now. That top line currently of Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele, and Alex Iafallo, they're playing really well. But that's really the only line that's bringing consistent offense. The second line with all the injuries is Niederreiter, Nemesnikov, and Perfetti. While they're getting their chances, at times, it's not consistent. It's not, every shift. There's no dominance in the last couple of games that we've seen, in that first game. There's really none of that. The Jets aren't rolling 4 lines anymore. They're really just relying on that first line. They're getting keyed on, maybe when Gabe Vilardi comes back, that optimizes the lineup a little bit. But, it might take more than just getting Gabe Vilardi back to get back on track here. The Jets need to get back to their game. And look, I don't mean to be that guy. I'm not going to be, victory lapping about my opinions and everything, about the trade deadline. But I am going to say, I feel pretty vindicated right now. I got a lot of shit for saying that Luke Schenn and Brandon Tanev wasn't a great haul for the Jets at the trade deadline. And they've arguably been their 2 worst players. Luke Schenn, game 3, might have been the worst performance by a Winnipeg Jet ever. And I'm not kidding. Go back and watch that game and tell me that it's not at least a top 3. He looked horrific. He's been really bad this whole series, maybe with the exception of game 2. But you know what? Luke Schenn, it's not even like a Logan Stanley thing. They took Stanley out of the lineup. They plugged in Hayden Fleury. I didn't think Fleury was, totally terrible. But those two, that bottom pairing is a massive eyesore. And it's really tough to watch them, just self-destruct in their own end. Not really doing a whole lot out there. Not fast. And, I was told that Luke Schenn was what the Jets needed, right? I was told that's what the missing piece was. This is why I was upset initially at the trade. If we look at Brandon Tanev, he hasn't really done a whole lot, been pretty invisible. He doesn't bring much offense. This is what I was worried about. This was the exact situation I was worried about. Winnipeg loses 1 top 6 forward. Earlier on in the season, we saw top 6 Mason Appleton, right? Jets are missing 2 right now, and, struggling to get offense. This is not good for the Jets. Hopefully getting Gabe Vilardi back fixes things. I don't think they're getting Nikolai Ehlers back anytime soon. This is worrying for Winnipeg. They better be able to find a way to find offense, or they're going to be out of this series real quick. But with all that said, it's only 2 games. And one game, I wasn't really stressing too much about it. 2 games is a pattern. And you really don't like to see this happen 2 games in a row, especially with what happened just a season ago to Colorado. This looks identical to the collapse, right? The goaltending, the defense, the lack of offense. And, it just seems like the Jets are overwhelmed right now. They need a bit of a break. They're going to play Wednesday, and they're going to be back at home in front of the whiteout. They have to find their game. If they don't, this series is over. I have no faith that the Jets are going to win 2 against St. Louis, climb out of the hole, and win Game 7. The Jets have come back from adversity all season long, and that's why I wasn't too worried for Game 3. This time, they didn't. They caved. So, is this going to be a trend? Is this going to be an even longer pattern? We're going to see, and we're going to learn a lot about the Winnipeg Jets on Wednesday night. Is this the same team? Is this just a blip? Is this just a, hey, you know what, gotta fight through our demons kind of thing here? Are they gonna overcome them? I honestly couldn't tell you. This is so bizarre that this is the way things have gone. This isn't what I expected. I don't know what to expect of the Winnipeg Jets going forward here. This is really worrying, and it's time to look at yourself in the mirror. Guys that have been here a long time, Mark Scheifele, Josh Morrissey, Connor Hellebuck, the list goes on, and say, like, it's got to stop at some point. You can't keep going out, have 50 plus win seasons and then cave in the playoffs. It's embarrassing for the fan base. It's embarrassing for the players. It's embarrassing for the entire organization. So many people don't take the Jets seriously because of what they do in the playoffs, right? And I was a definitely wait and see type of guy, but down the stretch here, I really started to believe here. And I still do believe in this Jets team. I believe it's in them. We've seen it all season, and that's the frustrating part. When you get to the playoffs, you can't figure it out, and it is... They need to figure out why. Is it a mental thing? Is it, a coaching thing? Is it an organization thing? Is it a player thing? I don't know. I don't get it. I believe they want to win, but, I don't understand it. How you can collapse this hard every single year. But they have a chance to fix it. Best of 3 game series coming up here. And, we're going to learn a lot about the Jets. Like I said before, this is going to be maybe the most important few games we've seen in a while from this Jets team. And, where we're going forward here. Will there be any consequences if they don't? If they don't win this series? Absolutely not. Because they won the President's Trophy. Look how good some of these guys played in the regular season, right? That's going to be the excuse. There's not going to be any accountability. We know that. We've seen this year in, year out from the Jets. So right now, if they want to be, serious, if they want to, buck this trend, now's the time to do it. So many players on this team said they're going to use this as fuel this season for what happened last season, right? That embarrassing loss against the Colorado Avalanche. And they did. They had the year of all years. They had the best year, arguably, in Winnipeg Jets franchise history, at least in the regular season, right? And then they show up to the playoffs, they played 2 really good games, and now they're slumping. They're right back to where they were last season. This has to stop right now, and if you're ever going to use some fuel, now would be the time, guys, because, you can't let this happen. Like, have some pride here. You can't unravel like this in the playoffs after having the season that you've had. This team is too good for that. Getting Gabe Vilardi back Wednesday. We'll see what happens, but the Jets got to figure it out here. But that's all I got today, guys. What do you guys think about this series? What a weird change of events, right? I really thought, I thought the Jets had a chance to lock this up in 4 the way they were playing in the first couple of games. But here we are. What do you think? Leave a comment down below. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Go Jets, go. Bye-bye.